Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Muramate. Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukranya-karane. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Muramate. प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुःखन्यकरणे भजे गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुःखन्यकरणे भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते निहिते काले नहि नहि रक्षति दुःखन्यकरणे
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Dwarka Mai, we are very fortunate and we want to give a warm welcome to Sri Guruji Nitatmaji. I will hand over the mic to Sri Sudhirji Parekh for their introduction. But before I hand over the mic, few announcements here to be made. Kindly switch off your cell phones so that it will not disturb others when they are in the middle of discourse. And also, if you have kids, please make sure they behave correctly. Thank you so much. And now I will hand over the mic to Sri Sudhirji Parekh. Dhanyavad. Please switch off your mic, cell phones, please. Thank you.
Jai Sai Ram. We had a very good session in the morning in Satsang Center, and we are very happy that Dwarka Mai Temple invited us to meet Swamiji here. Very readily they accepted about a few months back, so we are very happy and proud of this center. The second time we are coming to this center. Last time we brought Dr. Nagendraji here, and this time Swamiji Vineethatmanand. I have known him for many years. My first introduction was Vijay Govindam to him, of him. My brother-in-law in Washington DC, who runs the India House of Worship organization, who invited Swamiji at least 2 times I know of. And at that time, the first one I heard was Vijay Govindam, and also they published a booklet on Vijay Govindam and Sita Prakata. So I read them, I really liked them. And then few years down the road, when he came to MIT, when I listened to him, I don't remember the topic at the time, but I bought this series of his talks on Sita Prakata, which really impressed me. And I listen to that practically every year, once a year, just to remind me that what I still have to work for to become Sita Pragya. So Swamiji, he just like us, I did mechanical engineering, as I'm saying, he did mechanical engineering also. And after he heard Dayananda Saraswati, Swamiji, he decided to follow this path. He went to Sandipani for 3 years study. Then he was appointed as Acharya for 1 year there. Now he runs the ashram in Ahmedabad. He comes every year for many years. But us Vidya Gurukulam, he gives a lot of camps there on different topics related to Vedanta, Gita, and so there's a brief introduction of Swamiji. In the morning we had a very wonderful talk on living successfully. Now we are going for Vijay Govindam. So thank you very much. I'd like to welcome all of you. Welcome Swamiji. Thank you very much. Jai Shri Krishna.
The topic selected for the discussion this evening is Bhaja Govindam. It is a composition of Adi Shankaracharya. It's long, it's consisting of 31 verses. And we just have 1 hour with us. So there is no way that we can do justification to this composition. But we will take a look at the basic teaching of this text called Bhaja Govindam. You just heard the first verse. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Vikram Karne. It is said that once Shankaracharya ji was walking along the streets of Banaras with a group of disciples. At that time, he saw on the roadside house an old Sanskrit scholar, reciting something. As they went close, he heard that this Sanskrit scholar was repeating the aphorisms of Sanskrit. Dukram Karane, Dukram Karane. Dukram Karane is one of the aphorisms of the Dhatu Patha. Idea is that this person, he's so old, almost at the point of departure from this life. At that time, he's still repeating the aphorisms of Sanskrit language. He's still pursuing knowledge of Sanskrit language, Sanskrit Vyakaranam and grammar. Meaning that he's not doing what he should have been doing. What should you be doing at the end of the life? In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that what will be your last thought when you are departing from this body, that determines your next destination. So Lord Krishna says that those who remember me while departing from here, they come to me. Or whatever it is that you remember at the time of departure from this body is what your destination will be. Now, what will be my last thought? How do I know? Is it possible for me to will what my last thought will be? The answer is no. Because I do not even know what my next thought is going to be. The thoughts simply occur in our mind. We do not will what the thoughts will be. We have freedom to how to respond to the thoughts. But what the thought will be is not something that we decide, our mind decides that. And what makes our mind come up with a given thought? To give you an example of the dream, even though we write on our pillow covers, sweet dreams, but there is no guarantee that our dream will be sweet. I do not have freedom to decide what the dream will be. Dream just happens, is it not so? Usually, whatever is the strong or predominant thought during the day, that comes up during the dream, and that decides what the dream will be. Similarly, whatever is the strong thought I have entertained during my life, is what will decide what the last thought will be. Meaning that what our last thought will be cannot be decided at the last moment, is decided while we are alive. While we have the freedom to decide what thoughts to entertain in our mind, what thoughts to inject in our mind. Meaning that we do not leave our mind to think whatever it wants to think, but we deliberately inject a series of thoughts in our mind. And that is why we are asked to repeat God's name. We are asked to maintain healthy attitudes. We are asked to follow the right values in our life. Asked to follow good or healthy attitudes in our life. We have the attitude of compassion, kindness, love. Be a contributor rather than being a consumer, as we discussed in the morning. So we have the free will to decide what attitudes we can maintain. We have the free will to inject a certain series of thoughts in our mind, that is called meditation or prayer. Then I repeat a certain prayer. I repeat a certain holy name. I repeat a certain mantra. And I do not allow the mind to think what it wants to think, but then I make the mind think what I want it to think. And that is our freedom. And that is what we have to do during our life. It is said, as the mind, so the man. And as our values are, as our attitudes are, so is our mind. Therefore, we should use our free will to deliberately entertain certain attitudes. When we become deliberate in our life, then alone the free will is possible. We deliberately act as a kind person, deliberately act as a giving person, deliberately act as a loving person, as an honest person, as a truthful person. We deliberately maintain these values, we deliberately maintain these attitudes so that we can shape our mind. Our mind can be shaped as we want. If we do not shape the mind will decide how to shape itself. And there are so many temptations and so many attractions in life that mind is always impacted by them. Mind is impacted by whatever it comes in contact with. And therefore, in order to shield our mind, protect our mind from the undesirable effects, we have to deliberately create desirable thoughts in our mind. Understand? This is the principle of meditation or prayers. This is the principle of spiritual life. But we deliberately do this. Otherwise, mind is born with a natural tendency to enjoy objects of the pleasure. The mind has a natural tendency to go for sense gratification, ego gratification, and therefore this desire for gratification is the normal desire in the mind, and if you do not direct the mind, if you do not guide the mind, then mind will take its own course and go after the objects and accomplishments of the world. And that was happening to that scholar. His mind loved Sanskrit grammar. And therefore, he was repeating those formulas even at the time of death. He was nearing death. And therefore, Shankaracharya, he could not contain himself. These words just emerged from his mouth, from his lips. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Moodhamate, Moodhamate. Moodhamati, Moodha means a deluded person. Moodhamati, a person whose mati or the mind is deluded. One who is lost. One who is lost but does not know that he is lost. One who is going in the wrong direction but does not know that he is going in the wrong direction. In this fast-paced life, we think that faster we go, quicker we reach the destination. But we should remember that we should be going in the right direction to reach the destination. Otherwise, faster you go, faster you can be going away from your destination also. Is it not so if you are going in the wrong direction? So what is the right direction? All of this we discuss in the morning. What are we seeking in our life? We are seeking happiness. And where is that happiness? Happiness is with our own self. Our self is happiness. Happiness is with us and not outside of us. Therefore, the mind should be becoming inward looking rather than outward looking. Not extrovert but inward looking. More noble the mind becomes, more noble the person becomes, and more noble the life becomes, happier and more successful it becomes. So we have come to this earth with a certain goal. Life has a purpose. And all of us are sharing a common purpose. It is not that because I am wearing this clothes that I have one goal and you are wearing different clothes, so you have different goal. It's not so. Every human being entertains only one goal. And that is happiness. And if you ask you, how much happiness do you want? Do you want this much happiness? Or that much happiness? Or that much happiness? You say, oh, I want all this much happiness. Meaning that I want boundless happiness. Is it not so? Suppose we further ask you, how long do you want to be happy? 5 minutes in a day will be alright for you? Or half an hour a day? 1 hour a day? No, Swamiji, 24/7. I want to be happy all the time, 24/7. Is it not so? If we had our will, if we had a choice, we would not want to be unhappy even for a moment if we had a choice. Is it not so? Where do you want to be happy? As long as you are in the Sai temple, so long you are happy. One moment you walk out of here, you will be miserable. Is it alright for you? He says, no Swamiji, I want to be happy here and outside, at home and wherever I am. This is the ambition or desire that each one of us entertains, that we want to be happy at all the times, in all the places, under all the conditions. We want that ananda, we want that fullness, we want that peace, we want freedom, we want whatever different names are there. And that is called Govinda. That is called God. At all the times, that means that we want happiness which is Sat at all the times. Suppose somebody tells me, Swamiji, you'll be happy, he will give you an injection. Can I request that we can remove this?
Yes.
Thank Suppose somebody makes an offer to Swamiji, we'll give an injection. You'll be in coma and you'll be happy as you are asking for. He says, no, I want to be awake, I want to experience, I want to be aware. So not only I want to be happy, awareful happiness I want. And if possible, I want to have happiness with no effort at all, effortless happiness. Total happiness at all the times, all the places, effortless happiness, awareful happiness. At all the times is called Sat, awareful is called Chit, happiness is called Ananda. And therefore, if you really examine what we are seeking in life, it will translate into Satchit Ananda. Have you heard of this expression? Satchidananda. Which is the definition of God. So by the word Govinda is meant that God. Although Govinda is the name of Lord Krishna, popularly. But word Govinda also has derivative meanings. Go and Vinda, Govinda. Now, Vinda comes from the root vid. Vid means to know, or vid means to achieve. And the word go has many meanings. Most popular meaning of word go is what? Cow. So Lord Krishna was called Govinda. That name was given to Lord Krishna by Indra. You all know that story. That in Vrindavan, once upon a time, this little Krishna saw that very elaborate preparations were being made, lot of materials of worship and food were being all gathered, and a big festival was going to take place. So Lord Krishna, child Krishna, asked his father, what are we doing? What is this? He says, well, this is all preparation of worship. To whom? To Indra. Indra is the god of heaven. He sends us rain. So Lord Krishna says, hey, who is Indra? Indra is up there. The one really helping us are all these cows in Mount Govardhan. So they are helping us. They are giving us food. Worship them. Why do you worship Indra? So all the material of worship that was assembled for worshipping Indra was all diverted to worshipping this Mount Govardhan and the cows and the forest and the earth and the nature, which is mother, really in the real sense. See how Lord Krishna brought revolution even at that time. And when Indra discovered that all these gifts, instead of coming to me, are all diverted somewhere else, he was extremely angry. And he discovered that it is this small boy who is responsible for that. What does he think of himself? I will show what my power is. Indra is the king of the clouds, rain, and therefore he started sending rain. I think that you must have heard what happened in Kedarnath in India. There was a cloud burst and it rained so heavily, flooded everything and destroyed a lot of things. This kind of rains is sent. There are different kinds of rains. And he sent all kinds of rains incessantly for 8 days. Everything was flooded. All the cowherd people and all of these were, getting drowned. They all ran to this little Krishna and prayed to him, please help us, save us. We are getting drowned. So Lord Krishna says, don't worry. I'll protect all of you. You come along. There was a huge mountain. His name was Govardhana. Lord Krishna lifted that mountain and lifted it in the little finger of his left hand. Have you seen this picture anywhere? When you go to Srinathji, when you go to, Nathadwara, anyway, so that is Verito Giridhar Gopal, that's the Giridhar Gopal of Mira. All the whole village, all the animals, all of them were under that mountain for 8 days and they were all protected. When all the power of Indra also did not work against them, then Indra realized that this is not an ordinary boy. He realized that he is none other than Bhagwan, Lord God himself. So he came down and he sought pardon of Lord Krishna. And he said that you are the king of all the cows, I am the king of all the devatas, so I am called Devendra. Devendra means the god of all the, king of all the gods. Therefore he will be called Govindra or Govinda. So Indra gave the name Govinda, the lord of the cows. That's the common meaning, means Krishna. But Go also has not only cow, but there are other meanings. Go also means sense organs, Go also means speech. So one who is the lord of the sense organs, one who is the lord of speech, that is our self, the consciousness. One who is revealed by the speech, who can be known by the speech, who can be known by the Vedas, that is Lord, who is the subject matter of all the Vedas, all the scriptures. Therefore, by derivation, word Govinda means Ishvara or God. Not just one form, Lord Krishna of course, but then Ishvara in general is the meaning of word Govinda. Bhaj Govindam, you worship Ishvara, worship Bhagavan. Bhaj Govindam, Govindam bhaje moodamate. Oh moodamate, oh deluded fool, oh lost soul. Understand that you have not understood the purpose of life. You are worshipping now the Vyakara, the grammar, this all intellectual pursuits, you are worshipping them. And that stands for all material pursuits. Human being is a bhakta, is a devotee, all right. We are all devotees. But somebody is devotee of the wife, somebody is devoted to husband, somebody is devoted to family, somebody is devoted to wealth, somebody is devoted to power, somebody is devoted to name, fame, recognition, success. People are all devoted, all right, but devoted to all these worldly pursuits, thinking that by achieving them, that he will be successful in his life. So success everybody wants, but then people have wrong idea of what success means, and therefore they are chasing wrong things in their life. You know, when we were children, there used to be one competition where the children were all blindfolded and given a stick in their hand. And at a certain distance, there was a mud pot in which some sweets and candies and things were all filled. And whichever child with blindfolded, whichever child is able to go and hit that, gets the jackpot. So children are all blindfolded. They are turned around so they lose the sense of direction. The previous evening we all used to go to that spot. And from this spot we have to start. And that is where that pot is. And I would measure the steps. 52 steps we have to measure. This is all done earlier. Next morning now, the blindfolded, turn around, lose the sense of direction. Everybody has a staff, a stick in his hand, a cane in his hand. Everybody measures 52 steps. Somebody is in that direction, somebody in that direction, somebody. They're all doing this. Where? In the air. Because lost. called being lost because we are blind. In the life also we are born ignorant and therefore we raise God as blind to what is the goal of life and where that goal is. And therefore human beings are chasing all wrong goals in life. The real goal is none other than Govinda. He is the Lord Himself, who is our own self. The Satchidananda is our own self. Bhaja Govindam, you worship Govinda. How do you worship Govinda? Govindam bhaja mudamate samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrum karane. Kale sannihite kale samprapte kale. When the death comes at the appointed time, understand that someday death is definitely going to come. Dinayaminyau sayam pratah shishiravasanto punarayatah kalah kirti gacchadyayu. Says Malikavinda. Dinayaminyau, day and night. Pratah, sayam pratah, morning and evening. Shishira Vasanto, the different seasons of Shishira, the winter and the spring. They all come and go. Kala Kridati, the time is sporting constantly. Understand that time is ebbing, constantly moving. You don't even know. The time moves so stealthily that you don't even know the time has gone away. There was one sage whose name was Bhartruhari. He says that every morning we see the sun rise and we think that the same sun is rising every morning. It looks the same sun, but understand that every morning it is the same sun, but one day of your life has gone away. During the day, also at least you have 24 hours, of which half the day goes in sleep. The other half day, the waking hours are also, people keep them so busy that nobody knows how the morning came and how the evening comes. So how the time is passing away. And he says that when you look around, you find the birth and death and all this is happening constantly around us, but nobody feels that this will happen to me someday, that someday this will happen to me also. I will also die someday. We always take pity on the people who are dead or who are dying, but never think that that will happen to us. Pitva mohamayim pramanamadiram unmatta bhutam jagat says that the whole world seems to have drunk the wine of delusion and therefore they don't see what is obviously there. This human being is lost because of blindfolded, because of ignorance. Not knowing what is the right direction, not knowing what is it that I should worship in my life, what I should be devoted to. I am devoted to something or other, all right, but what I should be devoted to, I do not know. Eva Shankaracharya says, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Muramate. Oh deluded person, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship Govinda, worship God, worship God, worship God. When the death comes at a appointed time, then all your material pursuits are not going to help you. They are not going to come with you. Then what will come with you? What comes with us? Whatever spiritual progress we have made, that is what goes with us. Whatever punya karma, the virtuous deed that you have done, that goes with us. Whatever punya and papa, good and bad things that we have done, all these things are stored in our mind as impression. They all go with us. So understand that while we are performing actions every moment, we are creating a destiny for ourselves. Whenever we perform any action, it leaves an impression in our mind, and these impressions are all stored in the mind. When we depart from this body, we depart with all these impressions. That's the reason why when we are born with a certain kind of a nature, certain disposition, certain tendencies. Each one is unique because each one has a unique past history, and we are all born with our own tendencies, our own vasanas, our own samskaras. Meaning that it is up to us how to build our destiny. So right thinking, right attitudes, right values is extremely important. The worship of Ishvara, in traditional sense, of course, is well known. As you come to this temple and perform the puja, the worship is performed at 3 levels. At the level of body, at the level of speech, at the level of mind. Pujanam japaha chintanam krama. Ramana Maharshi says that kaya vang manah karyam uttamam. At the level of kaya, of the body, you perform puja. All of you are familiar with what puja is in the temple. The priest performs the variety of rituals. They are all puja. In one ritual, there are so many steps. You offer flowers, you utter the name, 108 names, and offer the flowers. You offer bath, you offer flowers, you offer food, you show the lamb, and these are all the steps. Pujana. Second way of worshipping is called japa. Japa means repeating the holy name, either a formula or a name, or repeating. See, so many mantras are written here. So many stotras are there, meaning that so many hymns are there, so many prayers are there in every language, in every tradition. Repeating them orally is another way of worshipping, another level of worship. And third, worshipping at the level of the mind, meditating upon Lord. Repeating His name in the mind. It's called mental japa or manas japa. The mentally repeating His name or meditating upon His form, meditating upon His name, meditating upon His life. Suppose Sai Baba is your Ishta Devata, and all these leelas, all the life of Sai Baba is displayed here as an example. In your mind, you can think of this, all the different incidents, and what kind of chamatkar, what kind of miracles they performed, what kind of healing, what kind of service they did, all of that you can think, and that's how you can meditate in your mind. So, Bhaja Govindam. Idea is that you focus your mind on Govinda, you focus your mind on Ishvara, you focus your mind on God and not upon these worldly pursuits. Because at the time of death, all the worldly achievements are going to remain here, they are not going to come with you. But whatever worship you have performed, whatever meditations you have done, whatever puja you have done, whatever chanting you have done, whatever tendencies you accumulated of the worship, they will all go with you. So, since this poem begins with the word Bhaja Govindam, therefore this composition is called Bhaja Govindam. There are many beautiful verses in this 31 verse poem. At one point, Shankaracharya says, showing the glory of satsanga, one of the ways of worshipping also is satsanga, meaning company of the good people, company of the wise people, company of holy people. It is very important that we keep the right company and we avoid the wrong company. Because our mind has a tendency to be influenced by whatever company we keep. Therefore, Shankaracharya says that may you maintain the company of the good people. Satsanga it is called. Satsanga is Satam Sangha. The company or association with the good, association with the wise, association with the holy, or association with good people, like-minded people. What happened? Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam. If you are in good company, then your mind is influenced by good thoughts, then from the good people, from the wise people, from the holy people, you realize that how they are happy without any great deal of possessions or without any material achievements also. You find that they are happy. It becomes an evidence to us that happiness is a different source of happiness from what we think, and that they are deriving happiness from their own self, from Govinda. So we get inspiration from that. We find that they are engaged in good karma, good activities. They are devotees of the Lord. They are all knowledgeable people. So in the good people, we find a confluence of good action, there is karma, devotion, there is bhakti, knowledge, there is jnanam. We find a confluence of all of this in those good people. There is a saint whose name was Tulsidas in India. He had written a text called Ramcharitmanas, which is Ramayana in Hindi, where he compares the wise people, the saints, with the mobile Prayaga. Recently you must have seen the Kumbh Mela that took place in Prayaga, where there is confluence of the three rivers, Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. So Tulsidas says that the saints also are the moving Prayaga. For that Prayaga, for that confluence, you have to travel so many miles, and whether you can make it or not is also a question in those days, because there were no modes of transportation available. Mostly you have to go on foot. But here, this Prayaga, this mobile Prayaga comes to you, and in them there is a confluence of three rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Where Yamuna stands for karma, Ganga stands for bhakti, Saraswati stands for knowledge. Satsangatve, Rav Shankaracharya says that may you entertain the company of the good people, of the saintly people, the wise people. These days we are very fortunate that we have many, because of technological advancement now, we can bring a saint in our home with a Skype, with online stuff, with the videos. Now you can have a Swami at home with the DVD. You can listen to the talks right at home. In television also you are listening to them, where you can bring the DVDs and you can listen to them at your home. You can see them. You can maintain their company. It will become much easier now to maintain the good company. You need not even go out of your home. Everything comes to you. Good company. Listen to some inspiring talks. Listen to some inspiring bhajans. Read some inspiring books. Have these quotations before you, which are inspiring quotations. We want our mind to be filled with inspiring thoughts. Thoughts which give us the direction or guidance in how to live the life. What are the right values? What are the right attitudes? So those talks and those books and those quotations which give you this inspiration, keep them with you. Satsangatve nissangatvam. what will happen is that you find that this saintly people are all devoted to Lord. In you also slowly that devotion for Lord comes. So our devotion gets transformed from the worldly things to, it gets transformed to Ishvara. You become slowly detached with the worldly things and get attached to Ishvara, to Bhagavan, to God, to scriptures, to saintly people. Your disposition gets transformed. Sat sangatve nissangatvam. Shankaracharya says, don't depend upon the world. The world will respect you only as long as you can provide something to the world. Once you stop providing, nobody will bother about you. Yavat vittoparjana sakta. As long as you are able to earn wealth and as long as you hold the position of importance, so long people respect you, so long they surround you. Tavan nija parivaro rakta. So long your family and friends will surround you, respect you, show you affection. Paschat jivati jarjate. Once you become old, infirm, not able to provide them anymore, then Bharatam kopina prachyatige. Nobody even takes, looks at you. Nobody bothers about you. That's the worldly relations. So deliberate upon the relations of the world. Kate kanta kaste putra samsaroyam ativa vichitra kasyatvam kah kuta ayata tattvam chinta tadiha bhrata. Hey, who is this one whom you call your wife? Who is the one whom you call your son? Who are you? Where have you come from? Kasyatvam kah, who are you? Kuta ayata, where have you come from? Tattvam chinta tadiha bhrata. Oh my brother, you please think about these things in your life. Kate kanta dhanagata chinta. All the time thinking about the wife, all the time thinking about your family, all the time thinking about the wealth. Is there nothing else to think about? Nasti kimto, navakula kimto, nasti niyanta. Is there something else to think about? Do you think about who has given you all of this? Do you realize that there is somebody who provides all of this? Do you realize that constantly you are enjoying the grace of Ishvara? Our Swamiji says that our heart, constantly throbs with love, dub, love, dub, love, dub. You know that? Love, the heart stops. Dub, it takes rest in between. That pump called heart. After love, if dub does not come, that's the end of it. So after love, the dub comes, that means that is grace. The breath goes out. If it does not come back, that's the end of it. Think of the grace you are constantly enjoying in your life. Think of all the privileges that you are enjoying, that you have this human birth, you have been given this beautiful body, you've been given the sense organ, been given the mind, been given the intellect. Isn't there somebody who has provided you all of this? Vatulu kimtava nasti niyanta. Don't you ever think of somebody who is a ruler, somebody who is a creator, somebody who is a provider of all of this? Have you ever thought about him? Kate kanta dhanagata chinta. All the time thinking about kanta means wife, dhana means wealth, and all these things, the worldly thing you always think about. You think that they are doing it for you, or is there somebody else who is doing these things for you? Kasyatvam kahakut ayataha. Who do you belong to? Who are you? Where have you come from? Tattvam chinta tadiham pranata. Oh my brother, please think of tattvam. Think of the truth of the life. Think of the reality of life. This is what we learn from satsanga. Satsangatve nissangatvam. Satsanga means company of the wise people, company of the learned people, who have a different way of thinking, who have different perception. So, these wise people give us a different perception of life. understand that life is not merely what you see on the surface, there is something beyond the surface also. That we see the diversity in our life, understand that behind this diversity there is a unity. That there are many ornaments, they are all different from each other, but in all the ornaments there is one goal, in fact, that is the common denominator, the universal in all the ornaments. Similarly, in all the names and forms, understand that there is one common denominator, one God, or one Narayana who resides, who dwells in the hearts of all. It's called Vasudeva, or Narayana, or Ishvara, or whatever name you want to give. Kastam, who are you? Are you just this human being, or you are something more than that? Is this body, you are this body? You are just your sense organs? You are the mind? You are the ego? Is the what you are? Or you are something more than that? Tattvam chinte, tadiham brata, oh my brother, think of that tattvam, think of the truth, think of the reality. So when we go in the company of saints, then we are made to think about these things. On our own we will perhaps never think of them, but that is why seek the company of the wise people, seek the company of the saintly people. That's how they give us a certain goal and an understanding of what the goal of our life is, what the path is. That understanding we get in our life. And nirmohatvam, slowly our delusion goes away. We think that the happiness lies only in the wealth and power and name and fame. We see the hollowness of those things and we see where the real success and where the real happiness lies. This direction we get from the saints. Nisangatve nirmohatvam, the moha, the delusion, the false ideas that we entertain about this world, this life, all of them drop off. And we are exposed to a vision of the reality about ourselves, reality of the world. That this world is nothing but manifestation of Ishvara. Vedanta teaches that Ishvara is not only far away somewhere, but what is in front of you, including yourself, is all the manifestation of Ishvara. So see him. So Swamiji, all I see are just these bodies and names and forms, that's all I see, that's all right. Look at your own self. That this body, this mind, sense organs, all of these are matter, they are all inert. What there is something that enlivens that, something that gives consciousness to them. What is that? What is your true nature? As Adi Shankaracharya says, Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham, nacha shrotra jihve, nacha ghrana netre, nacha vyom bhumir, na tejo na vayu, chidananda rupa, shivoham